"Mom, eat this special bowl of oatmeal. I made it just for you." I was standing in the kitchen holding a cup of tea that had already gone cold. Through the fogged glass of the cabinet door, I watched my son lean in and quietly slip something into my wife's bowl of oatmeal. I didn't shout, I didn't rush forward. I simply waited. And when my daughter-in-law returned to the table, I calmly switched the bowls. Before I take you further, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling me where you're listening from. Now let me take you back to that morning. A thin rain fell outside, steady and cold. The house felt heavy, like it had been holding its breath for months. After switching the bowls, I returned to my chair by the window. No one noticed, at least, they believed they hadn't. Eleanor looked smaller than she used to, not the gentle shrinking of age, but a slow fading. Each week she ate less. Each morning, she seemed more tired. Caleb stood behind Brooke's chair with that same practiced pose of protection. His hand hovered near her shoulder, but never touched. Close enough to look devoted, far enough to pull away instantly. "I made it thinner today," Caleb said evenly. "The doctor said Mom needs to eat properly." Which doctor? I wondered. I had been the one driving Eleanor to every appointment. None of them had warned of such sudden decline. Brooke adjusted her blouse and sat down. Her oatmeal looked identical to Eleanor's, same color, same warmth rising in soft steam. For months earlier, Caleb and Brooke had moved in, insisting they wanted to care for us. From that day, small things began to change. Brooke controlled Eleanor's meals. She reviewed medications, suggested switching doctors. Caleb suddenly became overly attentive to what his mother ate. I said nothing. I watched. Eleanor often felt dizzy after breakfast. Whenever I offered to prepare her food myself, Brooke gently refused. "Dad, you should rest. I'll handle it." That morning, when I saw Caleb's subtle movement over the bowl, everything inside me went still. It wasn't anger, it was clarity. Whatever he had added did not belong there. Breakfast passed slowly. Eleanor barely ate. Brooke ate more than usual, chatting lightly. Caleb kept glancing at her instead of his mother. After the table was cleared, I went to my old study. Weeks earlier, I had found things that disturbed me. Caleb's credit card statements showed heavy debts, large withdrawals. And then there was the insurance policy Brooke had accidentally left behind, $3 million. Eleanor's shaky signature marked the page. I knew she trusted easily. Brooke was skilled with reassuring words. That night, I checked Caleb's old dash camera in the garage. He had never changed the password. I fast-forwarded until I found clearer audio than video. Brooke's voice came through cold and precise. "Is that dosage enough?" Caleb replied after a pause. "If nothing happens, we increase it." No names, no explanations, just quiet planning. The next morning, breakfast looked the same as always. But this time Brooke lifted her spoon first. Her hand trembled slightly. "The oatmeal tastes different," she said after a bite. "There's something bitter." I took a slow sip of tea. 15 minutes later, Brooke began shifting in her chair, restless. Her breathing grew shallow. Caleb leaned toward her, whispering urgently. "I don't feel well," she muttered, gripping the table, her face drained of color. "Dad, do you see anything wrong?" Caleb asked, panic breaking through. "You should ask your wife," I answered calmly. Brooke's eyes filled with fear and anger. "You told me it wouldn't have a smell," she blurted. "You said it was safe." Silence slammed into the room. Caleb went pale. Brooke laughed weakly. "You said we just had to wait. It would end cleanly." I stood, walked to the dining room door, and locked it. The click was soft but final. "We're going to talk," I said, placing the stack of papers on the table. "Right now." Eleanor slowly stood and came to my side. "I've known something was wrong," she said quietly. From her cardigan pocket, she placed a small recorder on the table. It had been running. Brooke stared at the papers. Debt records, insurance copies, bank statements. "What do you want?" she whispered. "The truth," I said. "Not revenge, just the truth." Caleb's shoulders collapsed. "The debt got out of control," he admitted. "They don't wait. They don't negotiate." Brooke spoke next, steadier now. "We thought the insurance money would solve everything." "Sell the house, start over without your mother?" I asked. Caleb couldn't meet my eyes. A knock sounded at the front door. Calm, measured. I opened it. Two uniformed officers stood outside. I stepped aside. "When did you call them?" Caleb demanded. Before you thought you still had time, I replied. The recorder sat plainly on the table. So did the documents. There was no more pretending. When they were led away, Eleanor stood straighter than she had in months. She did not cry. She simply watched her son disappear through the doorway. The house felt hollow afterward. The oatmeal bowl remained untouched, long cold. In the days that followed, everything was handled quietly. Legal steps, statements, no shouting, no scenes, just consequences. One morning, Eleanor placed her hand over mine. "We can't stay here," she said softly. I nodded. The house carried too many shadows. We sold it quietly and moved near the sea. Not somewhere grand, just peaceful. We used part of the estate to create a small support fund for elderly people betrayed by those they trusted. No grand name, just quiet help. Now our mornings are simple. Mint tea instead of oatmeal. Open windows, the steady sound of waves. One afternoon, Eleanor smiled at me in the sunlight. "I feel better," she said, and I believed her. I used to think family was unbreakable by blood alone. I was wrong. Family is protection. When that protection turns into harm, walking away is not betrayal. It is survival. If you stayed with me until this moment, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe so more stories like this can reach those who need them. And remember this, family is not a place where we suffer in silence. It is where we are meant to feel safest. When that safety is gone, choosing peace is the bravest thing we can do.